Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game taking place here on Springtime version 1.3 with Infi spawning as the red human on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, LawLiet spawning as the blue night elf on the bottom right. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys had a great time. Yeah, sometimes I need a vacation from my vacation, and things don't always work out. Just a quick story. Ended up going to, going to an amusement park, and after an amusement park with the kid, spending the night, 2 days at the amusement park, wanting to come home and just relax, just like, let's just relax, get the kids ready for bed, and we'll go to sleep, and then we'll start our day. Yeah, no, not gonna happen. Well, what did happen was the smoke alarms in the house decided to be like, you know what? All of our batteries need to be replaced, right? When you replace one smoke alarm battery, you should replace them all, because they're all just going to start chirping randomly in the middle of the night, and that's exactly what happened. So, decided to, be the good dad, go outside and grab some additional 9-volt batteries, come back home and like, okay, replace all the batteries, an extra like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, trying to find all of those batteries, climbing up and down ladders, thinking I'm done. Yeah, now. Before we had left, we had run the dishwasher so that, dishes don't smell up or do anything bad. Told my oldest daughter to go unload the dishwasher. She comes back, goes, Dad, what does E45 mean? And why is there a pool of water in the bottom of the dishwasher? Ah. Alright, let me go ahead and remove all of the stale water that's sitting in the bottom of the dishwasher, flush it and figure out what's happening there and clean that up. So that's what's happened there, as we are now looking at the Demon Hunter versus Archmage now making their rounds out. Demon Hunter has not picked up an ability as of yet. Tuskar Trapper could have easily ensnared that footman. That's the reason why Infi purposely did back off here. Demon Hunter does have a clause of attack +5, and now, well, Demon Hunter going after the footman here. So that's exactly what Infi wanted to know. He wanted to know what the Demon Hunter's play was. LawLiet coming out across the battlefield here. Archmage going to get in some attacks. There's a water elemental drop. There's a mana burn. And now we see some exchanging. Alright, so ring around the Archmage here. That's a lot of damage getting racked up. Archmage trying to retreat back as they're looking at the Archmage pushing himself into a corner again. Demon Hunter absorbing quite a bit of damage here. Now down to 113 hit points. Has to be extremely careful. Alright, so it absorbed a lot of damage. Absorbed close to 100 points of damage, now regenerating some of that as the Archmage goes to the center portion of the map to get a little bit of additional experience by clearing out the Null Boot and the Null Trapper. Alright, no real problem there. Archmage picks up Slippers of Ability and will be getting that Brilliant Aura. Demon Hunter went back home, regenerated some hit points, regenerated more of its mana. Probably didn't want any additional mana anyways, just wanted the hit points, but well, you get what you get, don't get upset. Timberwolf going to go ahead and shut down here as the archers and well, finish off this Null Pulsar down the south side. Now, where is that Archmage? Alright, oh, Archmage was at the shop. Boots of Speed, Dust of Appearance, Circlet of Nobility, sold the Scroll of Town Portal, and this is a very dangerous move by Infi. Infi, perhaps not worried about surrounds here, as we're looking at LawLiet coming across. Alright, there's going to be some volleys of attacks as the footmen, well, remember, they do have that 10% reduced damage against piercing, so they should actually be quite stronger against these targets here. However, well, the Demon Hunter going to make short work of that footman here. That Demon Hunter going after, he should be able to finish it off. One more final shot. That footman gets taken down. No archers have been lost yet, I do not believe, and the archers are playing a very strong game, even with the reduced damage to heavy armor. The archers fighting among all of these Moonwells are doing a great job as they're splitting up, and now Footman finally with the Fend. Alright, so Footman with the Fend, able to get in a bit of damage here. There's the Dust of Appearance, and this was all calculated and planned to try and dive in here and make sure to put in pressure. All right. Tree of Life needing 30 more seconds to tech. Are we going to see a Wisp? Yes, Wisp does get taken down. Footman now throwing on Defend again. 29 supply compared to 28. As we're looking at a Hunter's Hall going to quickly get canceled out there. Are we going to see a, jump inside of that? Jump inside there again. So that's exactly what we're looking at. LawLiet playing whack-a-mole with the Wisps inside the Entangled Gold Mine, as all of these Moonwells are pretty much dry at this point. I'm constantly putting pressure, and perhaps this is all part of a long-term play by Infi to make it so that the next Daybreak regeneration and heals are going to be that much tougher. All right, Footmen, well, they have a lot to fight back against. We're going to see a Dust of Appearance. There's the Dust of Appearance. That's going to be a dead archer there, as we're looking at the units trying to fall back once more. More archers are still getting trained at this stage in the game. We're looking at 6 with a 7th archer underway, as the Footmen are now trying to retreat back. Meanwhile, Infi has already teched the tier 2, going for Blood Mage second, and going for an Arcane Sanctum. No Vault yet. So without the Vault, we are not going to be looking at Spellbreakers at all. We are just going to be looking at Sorceresses and Priests. All right, Footman trying to get past that Wisp, ends up getting body blocked as the Demon Hunter gets to level 3. All right, one low hit point Footman there. Perhaps gonna go for Rifle Casters, not even bother with an Arcane Vault here. The Priest are going to be able to do a good job healing those units, as the Archmage, or excuse me, Blood Mage, now heads off to the north to try and get some, creeping done. Alright, Demon Hunter, Nagasi is already here. This could be a problem. LawLiet, Infi going to go ahead and battle it up. Demon Hunter going to finish off this creep camp there, pick up another Ring of Superiority. Militia now trying to fight back against these units, as a Rifleman trying to fall back here. Archmage, Blood Mage, going to see a bit of an engagement. No, are we going to see a denied? No. I thought Rifleman would perhaps try and do a little bit of a shot there, as the Priests are finally out here on the battlefield and need to do a little bit of healing. There's some Siphon mana into that Archmage. Archmage gonna be able to drop a Water Elemental here. Meanwhile, the Priest out of mana now, not able to easily heal. We need to see more Priests get trained up here. Now, that is a fair number of archers walking across the battlefield. Demon Hunter Nagasi can clear out some creep camps very easily, going after this Ogre Magi creep camp here. Demon Hunter did get evasion, but only the level 1 variety right now, as we do see a Scroll of Release quickly sold, and not the item he was looking for. Doesn't really want to do a pressure timing attack with these archers into a bunch of defended equipment. Blood Mage going to go ahead and clean up some creep camps here. Shaman going to get thrown down. Archmage and Blood Mage both not going to level up here, as a Crystal Ball is picked up. Level 3 on that Archmage and level 2 on that Blood Mage is going to be key of shutting down the Demon Hunter with Vanish, and also having plenty of mana for that Blood Mage as well. Alright, more Priests getting added into the mix here. Footman with Defend, able to reflect back some of that damage. Archmage and Blood Mage, a nice double level up once more, as the Archmage looks to back up here. Blood Mage looking to get the remainder of the experience, as the Riflemans are still rallied to that Archmage there, and we're going to go after another creep camp. Army of archers. That is a lot of archers. 16 to 18 damage. No flame strike. Only banish. And how is this going to go down here? That is a lot of damage to be had. There's a mana burn. There's a siphon mana. There's a slow. Footman with Defend. Are we going to see the Footman with Defend be able to reflect back enough here, as the Demon Hunter comes across with another mana burn again? Big Fork Lightning taking down some of those Footmen again. But meanwhile, the Demon Hunter needs to retreat back down to 92 hit points. More siphon mana. Nagasi not going to be able to do much here, as we see a tactical scroll of Count Portal. Archers are just lobbing down the entire back line. Beautiful fight by LawLiet, using the improved range on those archers, that 700 range, to be able to focus fire these unarmored units. Unarmored units taking a bit of bonus damage from those archers, as now the Blood Mage and the Archmage try to finish off this tracker for both the camp here. Wound Bracer pick up, perhaps going to be helpful to shake off some of that Fork Lightning damage, as the Archmage still can summon up some more Water Elementals with the help of that Blood Mage, while constantly siphoning mana into that Archmage. Meanwhile, LawLiet still with a growing number. Is it a growing number And now getting the marksmanship damage. So these guys are going to go from 16 to 18 to 20 to 22 damage. That is a significant amount of damage, essentially 2.5 upgrades right there before you even get the Hunter's Hall upgrade. So that upgrade, 17 damage to 21 damage, about in terms of average, that is about a 25% damage increase, hence the 2.5 upgrade there, as the Blood Mage is now sitting at level 3. We do see True Shot Aura for the Blood Mage here. We are at Tree of Eternity, and we do not see a third hero coming across from LawLiet. We are only at Keep on the other side, Infi here, and interestingly enough, still no Arcane Ball, which means, well, no Spellbreakers. It is purely Rifle Casters with Militia now in position. Alright, this Ancient of War looks like it's about to fall here. There's a big roar. That is another plus 5 damage. So suddenly, these archers doing upwards of 26 damage on average. Yeah, a big damage increase overall. We're seeing more Fork Lightnings come across here. Riflemen getting taken down. More Siphon Mana coming back across as well. Both sides able to lob back that damage. You can see, wow, that's 27 damage. Such a big increase. If you were not expecting it, you're only expecting archers to deal 17 damage per attack, and now they're suddenly dealing 27 damage per attack. You may be caught unaware. Alright, more attacks coming back the other way. Demon Hunter turning into a bit of a pincushion. It is now, it is reaching the nightfall. The Moonwells are fairly empty, so the Archmage has a small window of opportunity to try and put pressure, but with the Druids of the Claw, now with Rejuvenation, that Demon Hunter can, well, absorb some damage, get a Rejuvenation, and then wait for it to happen again. We are looking at, is this a single Ancient of War? Alright, so it's a single Ancient of War after all this time. Alright, we normally are looking at dual Ancient of Wars, and instead, Infi and LawLiet are kind of flipping the script, not spending nearly as much on infrastructure and on the buildings, but instead just trading out and getting up to that 50 supply here. A single Ancient of War and a single Ancient of War. Everything here, as we're looking at this water bucket, should be denied. Not quite sure what it's doing right there. That was a free experience, as we see a Staff of Preservation denying experience on the other side here. More Sorceress, more slow. The Sorceresses are only at the initiative training, do not have Adept as of yet. Priest, same thing. That's what happens when you are a single Arcane Sanctum. You just don't have the time to invest in that upgrade as often. As we're looking at Infi now still wandering around here. Archmage trying to get a little bit of separation, a little bit of distance. Demon Hunter could be in trouble, down to 183 hit points. There's some more Siphon Mana. And Infi's Blood Mage just putting in pressure. Alright, a Book of Retraining. Archmage is going to try and retrain into Blizzard. I believe that is going to be the case. Try to retrain into Blizzard to actually rack up more and more damage. There's an army of archers right here, but well, Shadow Meld prevents you from seeing them easily. As we're looking at the Archmage, is going to try to drop. There's that retraining right now. There's a Fork Lightning. There's that retrain, the Blizzard already. As the Archmage is going to try to get changed positions here. All right, there's a little bit of slow. You're going to see a Staff of Preservation. No, Scroll of Healing used there as the Druid of the Claw trying to get away. One more shot, and it does get taken down. All right, where is the Demon Hunter? Demon Hunter went back the other way, separated from the rest of the army. Slow being cast here. There's some Siphon Mana, and now the Demon Hunter is still trying to purposely remove mana from the Sorceresses so that, well, no more slow can be cast. Demon Hunter going to be coming across the other side here. Rifleman, well, pivoting and shooting. 59 supply compared to 45. LawLiet in trouble in terms of the army supply count, but there are Moonwells here. Druids of the Claw are healed back up, and it looks as though, well, we will be battling up here in just a moment. There's some Siphon Mana. Alright, Blood Mage purposely trying to get some damage. There's level 3 now. Blood Mage finishing things off. We're going to see another slow perhaps onto some of those units. There's a Banish. There's a Blizzard. There's some Siphon Mana as the Nagasiwitch able to shake off a bit of that slow once more. 2-1 upgrades going up against 2.5 upgrades, as we see a Fire Lord as the third and final hero, as now looking at Soulburn to perhaps disrupt that channeling ability. All right, due to the Claw, gonna have a very, very bad day trying to escape back off to the north. Demon Hunter trying to dive in onto those, onto those Moonwells. You see that Soulburn stopping that channeled ability. There's another Scroll of Healing use there as a Banish now comes across. All right, attacks up onto the high ground, not really missing their targets. I would have thought that we would have seen a little bit more miss hits there, since there was a high ground advantage, but apparently not the case, as the units are still continuing to fall back. Yeah, is there no... I'll have to keep track of that. All right, Blood Mage could be in a little bit of trouble. Are we going to see... There's an Invul Potion right there. What is he going to do? He's going to perhaps try and siphon mana off of the Fire Lord. No, not doing that. There's that Soul Burn. There's that Mana Burn again. And that Archmage is now out of mana. And Infi needs to run away from this fight. He does not have a Scroll of Town Portal. The archers are a little bit too far behind after they lob a round of attacks here. We could see some more Mana Burn again. Archmage purposely backing up. And then now perhaps they've chased a little bit too far, as we are looking at a bit more... Well, there's a bunch of misses. And as the evasion seems to be working. All right, I'm trying to keep track of the... Oh, is this providing sight up onto the high ground here? Yeah, that's providing sight. I believe there is a ramp here, so there should have been some misses by those archers. Didn't really see it. Wouldn't it be weird if the overall game balance and missing targets up? Well, anyways, can't even complete my thought. If Blizzard accidentally patched and removed missing from low ground and high ground attacks. All right, LawLiet using the Fire Lord very effectively to cause Soul Burn. And that Soul Burn is a very strong anti-channel ability here. All right, still more damage here. There's that Invul Potion. Blizzard now raining down archers. Druids of the Claw do not want to try and, well, cross that little gap right there. Meanwhile, Blood Mage could be in a little bit of trouble. We do see a Scroll of Healing on both the Archmage and the Blood Mage, so this go-wide army can get healed up a bit. There goes some units there, as level 4 now reaches on that Naga Sea Witch. Blood Mage could be in trouble. Archmage, no one used that Scroll of Healing yet. There's Blizzard. There goes another Rifleman. 59 supply compared to 47. The supply, advantage has flipped now in favor of LawLiet, as the archers, with that very strong damage roar coupled with that marksmanship upgrade, that seems to be enough, as the archers are still pushing forward. All right, some big damage across there. There's some more siphon mana. Remember, archers do have that blessing. They are magic resistant, even though they only have 275 hit points. They are magic resistant, meaning, well, that Blizzard is not really going to be able to easily take them down. 63 supply compared to 47 now. Yes, 2-1 upgrades for the Riflemen, but Druid of the Claw's roar coupled with the archers' improved marksmanship does make this archer army significantly stronger than what you would normally think at this point. All right, there's some more Blizzard raiding down archers, trying to dodge a little bit of damage. Are we going to see perhaps a narrow corridor fight? That is a lot of Druids of the Claw in that frontline spot, able to absorb large amounts of damage perhaps, as we see a slow now get cast down. Fire Lord with that Orb of Venom, able to apply that, damage over time. And you can see that damage over time just, ticking away on that Rifleman slowly but surely. All right, 53 supply. There's some more siphon mana pushing back the other way again. Archmage has been sitting at level 4. Blood Mage still sitting at 4. So it's, we're reaching the tipping point. Demon Hunter nearing level 5 now. And level 5 means level 3 mana burn on the top of the soul burn to shut down that Archmage. So double burn all the way to try and shut down the casters of Infi in that Archmage and a Blood Mage. All right, a little bit of slow. Units are just backing up here. There's a little bit of damage. Staff of Preservation for the save. Triple Staff of Preservation pretty much means LawLiet should not lose any anything except for in a very prolonged engagement, which would have definitely benefit LawLiet in that very strong frontline army. Blood Mage falling back here. Looking at some little bit of chip damage still constantly being applied to these targets over and over. 65 supply compared to 56. Getting in, well, no, trying to get in more casters here. Perhaps a blizzard going to get rained down. Yes, there's a little bit of damage there. Demon Hunter running through the, well, through that ice storm and still taking a little bit of damage here. All right, so there's some more blizzard raining down. Another Staff of Preservation. Remember, Staff of Preservation cooldown extremely short, and the fact that there's 3 of them across these heroes should tell you, well, no Druids of the Claw should get taken out, save for an unforced error. LawLiet should be able to easily, constantly save those targets over and over again, as the Priest and the Sorceress do have that adept training now. Alright, chipping away at some of the Moonwells. There's the Siphon Mana, and now units trying to back up once again. A little bit of damage there. Perhaps we're going to see the Archmage try and fight. There's a nice little, well, semicircle there. Another Staff of Preservation and another. And no big surprise as the Archmage is going to go ahead and throw down a couple of waves of Blizzard, but once more Soulburn is in position. I think we've reached the critical point right now. If LawLiet is able to level up on the Demon Hunter and on that Fire Lord, the hero level advantage will start tipping things in favor of LawLiet a bit too much. Infi needs to hold off here, try to get some big damage across all of these Druids with the Claw, and then from there somehow make a play. There's a Staff of Preservation on the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter being forced to retreat back here, as we could look at a, well, are we actually going to see a Druid of the Claw fall? The Demon Hunter, remember, is currently back at home, so one Staff of Preservation is gone. This Druid of the Claw, however, somehow able to get away after all that time and retreat back home again. Main Moonwells are, main gold mines have been mined out. So Infi, during all this time, he did not set up another expo. Is he going to do long distance mining? Major mistake here by Infi, not for well, not being prepared or perhaps not ready for this well, extra long game. We're 21 minutes into this game here. We're going to be seeing some long distance mining. Meanwhile, LawLiet is fully saturated on this entangled gold mine. And really, LawLiet, perhaps he doesn't know that he's in a commanding position. However, the militia said, you know what, we want to join in on the battle. We are going to go all in at this point here, as the militia are now fighting in from this side here. All right, Staff of Preservation for a couple of saves. There's some more Siphon Mana. Level 2 now on that Fire Lord, as we see some more roars go down. And Demon Hunter still sitting at level 4 there. There's another banished Staff of Preservation for the save. Lava Spawns joining in on the fight. There goes 1, there goes 2, and the Demon Hunter finally gets to level 5. All right, couple of casters go down, a couple of peasants go down as well, giving level 5 to the Demon Hunter, and I believe that is all, well, LawLiet needs to close out this game. All right, Giant Polar Bear, Magnetar Reaver, perhaps a little bit of focus damage to give a bit of experience. There's level 4 now on that Blood Mage, hood of cunning, intelligence, and agility, but it may be, well, still too little, too late after all this time, trying to, well, recover economically. This expansion down to the south really gonna be making a big difference here, especially with the 52 to 77 supply discrepancy. There's that blizzard raining down. There's a big mana burn. We're looking at the Archmage trying to finish off these buildings, unable to finish off this, finish off the Hunter's Hall here, but didn't finish off any of the Wisps. Now going to go into a battle. 52 supply compared to 77. Archmage trying to retreat back here. Demon Hunter, Dryads are now finally amongst all of these units. We're going to see a couple of invisibilities for saves. There's a Forked Lightning. Units are still falling back here. No blood, no Flame Strike. Is the Archmage perhaps going to try and throw down some Blizzard here? No, not going to be able to do that. There goes a Rifleman, and I believe the writing is on the wall. LawLiet is going to take this game. I'm going to call it here. 77 supply compared to 46. Demon Hunter pushing forward. There's another mana burn, and this is just turning into a war of attrition. chip damage is just starting to become too much. That lasting damage from that druid, from that damage over time, and that is gonna be the game. A big difference in all three categories: unit score, hero score, and resource score. Infi giving up the hero size or the army size advantage, and then eventually losing in hero level advantage pretty dramatically, 5-4-2, with the addition of that Fire Lord as a third hero, opening things up, and or rather shutting things down for Infi and his hope to be able to blizzard things. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.